Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Cassandra Terry, your manifesting miracle maker, and it is Mindset Monday. On Mondays, we talk about mindset and what mindset does to and for us. Having the right mindset sets the tone for how we experience our lives. It helps us to either get through situations or it makes it very difficult for us to get through situations because it really depends on what we're focused on. Are we focused on what we have, or are we focused on what we don't have? Are we focused on the problem, or are we focused on the solution? So, mindset really helps us, especially when we're in a difficult situation. If we're focused on the solution, I submit to you that you're going to get out of whatever that circumstance is much faster. Your mind is open, you're remaining hopeful, you're focused on what are the things that I can do to improve my situation versus being focused on the issue itself. When you're focused on the issue and how you're feeling in that moment, you can't think about the outcome. That's when things like depression and frustration and some of those more difficult emotions start to set in because all you can see in that moment is the difficulty itself. You can't see your way out of it. You're kind of in the thick of it, and your mind is so fixed on what's going on and how things are going negatively that it really is difficult to see beyond that. And when you're in that space, you can't think solution based. You can't think about what can I do next? How can I move forward? Those sorts of things. So you're there just that much longer because you're spinning, you're emotional, and it begins to shut you down instead of getting you in a situation where you're really, really, really able and to move forward and to figure out the best steps to move forward. So I've spoken to you guys maybe once before about mindset and specifically about Carol Dweck. Carol Dweck is a psychologist, and she's got some powerful TED Talks, and she wrote a book on growth mindset and a lot of today's leadership development type courses, at least at my job, and I know in a lot of others because she is a sought after trainer, leadership developer who brings those her mindset work into corporations and tries to help shift the mindset of the leadership because as the leadership goes, eventually that's how the company goes. So she talks about the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. There are times when fixed mindset has its place, but in general, when you have a fixed mindset, you don't believe that there's anything that can be done to improve a circumstance. Where if you have a growth mindset, there's a little word, 3 letters, YET, that serves you very, very well, and you lean on it often. So if you don't know something, like I grew up with a real strong background and understanding and grasp and love for English and writing and speaking and things like that, even as a young person. But I did not like math. I found math to be difficult. I had to work harder. I had to think differently. And I also grew up in an environment where we just kind of talked about the fact that we weren't that good at math. And so that was fixed in my mind, in addition to the fact that it wasn't as natural of a skill as the reading, speaking, writing parts of school. So I believed that I could not do math. I could do enough to get by and to keep my GPA because that was something that was important to me, but it didn't stick. It didn't feel natural. I would forget almost as quickly as I got through it because that's all I thought I was able to do was to get through it. I was not going to let it mess up my GPA, which that in of itself should have told me if I had been thinking about things differently. That should have told me that the ability was there, that it just required a little bit more effort because it wasn't the natural ability of mine. So I have for years, even through college, I always said, I'm not good at math. I can't do math. But when you think about it, math is just a set of rules. And if you follow the rules and you do them in the order that's required, you get the answer. And then you can go back in math and you can check your answer and you can have assuredness that you're right. Or you can have confirmation that you're wrong. And then you go back and do a little bit more work until you get it. I didn't think about it that way. I had a very fixed mindset and I believed that I just could not do math even though I had the grades. So, walking around with that fixed mindset and believing that math was just not a good skill in my family. And so, because I'm a part of that family and because I'm feeling a little angst every time I have to do this, I don't enjoy it, then I had convinced myself that that was just the case, couldn't do it. So, what did I? So, it made it more difficult. My mindset, in and of itself, made it more difficult to get through those courses. And so, every time I think about her book, and as I was reading through it, I could see, some of her points playing out in my life because eventually I work in information technology. So I'm in the IT field. I had to do math to get through my degree plan. And I've always gotten through it. I've always did what needed to be done for whatever was in front of me. That's what I should think about myself. And so that just knocks can't right out of there. And instead of me not being able to do math, as I would put it, what would have served me better is whatever it was we were being taught at that moment. I should have been saying, I just don't understand this yet. YET. That's that three-letter word that will serve you very well. Because when it's yet, there's still an expectation of getting there. There's nothing debilitating. There's nothing that's holding me back. There's no reason why I can't get there. I'm just not there yet. So imagine how your children, your coworkers, anybody in your space would feel if that's how things were approached. And if they were struggling with something and somebody came along and said, instead of saying, "Oh, you're just not good at that," say, "Oh, I see you're having a difficult time. You haven't figured out how to do this yet. Let's set some time up together and we'll work through it and we'll do a little bit of extra focus on this and I'm sure you'll have it in no time." Wow. That would have felt good. I think that's what teachers at the front of the room are trying to do because they're trying to teach this all the students whatever the lesson is, but you never know what's playing in that individual's head. And if they don't believe that they are able to accomplish something, they're right. Doesn't mean they're accurate. Doesn't mean it's the truth, but it's true to them. And as long as you don't feel like you can do something, you're going, your body, your mind, your environment is going to line up to support that belief. So before you know it, you shut yourself down before you ever had a chance to get started. So I wanted to share with you guys, I want you to know the difference between a growth mindset and a fixed mindset so that when you're operating in the fixed mindset, you can recognize that and do a little reprogramming and take a little pressure off and make things a little bit easier on yourself. So I've got a graphic from, let me look really quickly because I want to reference where I got this from. I don't believe in taking credit for other people's work. So give me just a second to jump over here. So Very Well Mind is a psychology publication and their work gets medically reviewed. So it's not just people's opinions, but there's science and research behind what they publish. And a lot of what they do has to do with mental health, with self-improvement. And I was reading in their cognitive psychology space about what is mindset and why it matters. And the person who wrote this, her name is Kendra Cherry, and it was updated on September the 20th of 2022. So just a few months ago. So pretty recent research behind this. And if you looked at verywellmind.com, it's what is a mindset and why it matters. So that's where the table that I'm about to share with you guys comes from. And we're focused today on fixed versus a growth mindset. So let me share this table. I hope you're able to see that. I'm going to make it bigger so that I can see it. And the reason we talk about mindset all the time is I want to help us myself included, because no one gets it right all the time, to constantly be changing and evolving and learning new things that can help us along this journey called life and help us to accomplish the things that we've got set for ourselves, the goals, the life that we would like to have. It's all possible, but the biggest work in order for us to get there is the internal work. It's the mindset. It's how are you speaking internally, speaking and feeling about yourself? Do you have an inner critic or do you have an inner advocate? What are the automatic messages that you're saying and believing about you? How your mindset goes really determines how your life is going to go, how situations are going to go in general. So it's important enough to me to share some topics, some conversations with you guys every Monday on mindset, because we're changing. We've got a new mindset loading. We are a work in progress, moving towards the life that we all want. So I've got a table here that I took from that article that I just shared with you guys from Very Well Mind. And it gives you examples in the left column. It's a fixed mindset and how things may be thought or said out loud versus how you deal with the same situation with the growth mindset. If anybody wants this table or wants this article, just DM me. I'm happy to share it with you. This is an important topic, guys. If you're walking around with a fixed mindset, most of the time you don't believe that things can be different than what they are. So you've mentally walled yourself off and you don't have a path from where you are to where it is you would like to go. Where with a growth mindset, you believe that with a little work, anything is possible. So let's take a look at the table. So if I have a fixed mindset, either I'm good at it or I'm not. And that's what I've been talking about with the math example. I didn't think I was good at math. And so I really struggled in compared to how easy school was in the other areas. If I have a growth mindset, I believe that I can learn to do anything that I want. That's a big difference. Some people are naturally gifted. I believe that I'm learning to believe. It's been a work in progress, but I believe that I'm gifted to take difficult concepts and break them down into easily understandable points, and that I'm gifted to speak, to take those points and deliver them in a way that people go, "Oh, okay, I get it." That's a gift. Anybody could do that, but it comes more naturally for me. So because I was born with that ability, and because my life has helped develop that ability because of the things I took in school, because of the job that I have to do those types of things on a regular basis. So that gift gets enhanced because it's practice, it's rehearsed over and over and over again. I get the opportunity to operate in that gift on a regular basis, so the skill set continues to improve. So if I came along and I was interacting with someone who doesn't have the gift of gab, isn't comfortable being in front of a camera, isn't comfortable putting themselves out there and talking to people about whatever, then it would seem like I could do it, but they could not. Not true. It's not that they cannot, it's that they have to do some work to build up that skill. So I may be a little bit down the road, but it doesn't mean that they can't get where I am. They just have to do the work, which is exactly what my experience was with math. I don't fear math anymore. I've done it enough. I've been successful enough that I've retrained my brain to go, okay, I might not understand this yet, but if I do a little work, I'll get there. Fixed versus growth. If it's fixed, it is what it is. It's not moving. If it's growth, it's evolving. Think about it like that. There's a possibility for change. If it's fixed, it is planted, it is cemented. There's nothing that's going to move it. Where with fixed, we can figure this thing out with a little work. We just haven't gotten there yet. So that's the first one. That's just who I am and I can't change. Versus that's the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset says I am constantly evolving. I'm a work in progress. Doesn't that sound more like us? Hello, I see someone on TikTok saying good morning. Good morning, guys. Thanks for joining. I see you guys also on Facebook and on LinkedIn and YouTube. Thank you all for joining in. I haven't greeted you this morning. I was running a little late. So as soon as the cameras came on, I just jumped in. But today's topic is about uh oh, I've got my first troll, y'all. There's someone on TikTok, and they're saying you are so ugly. Mm. So there was a time in my life where if I got a message like that, it would have really been painful. It would have really bothered me. It may have made it difficult for me to come on camera again. It was one of the reasons why it took me a while to start to go live versus versus doing pre-recorded videos that I could just put out there, because trolls are real. There are people who create accounts and they follow you and they pretend like they're interested in what you're doing just so they have the opportunity to say mean things to you, just so they have the opportunity to try and disrupt your day. Or and when I see people like that, it doesn't speak to me. What I look like to them is irrelevant to me. I can see myself right now because on TikTok, my phone is looking at me right behind my laptop. I literally see my face. Nothing wrong with it. I like it. So the fact that someone else has an issue with it is not my issue. It belongs to them. The fact that someone else would like to take their time to try and hurt somebody else doesn't speak to me. It doesn't speak to you. So when someone shows up like that, I feel sorry for the person, because they are either in so much pain or have had so much trauma in their life that all they want to do is spread the pain. I hope whoever you are, that you get the help that you need, that softens your heart and turns your life around so that you spread things that make this world better instead of hurting somebody, because everybody can't take those comments like I can. A year ago, it would have been a difficult comment for me, and for you guys on that are looking at me other than TikTok. I'm probably looking over your head because I'm speaking directly to this person. You woke up today and you decided that you wanted to lash out and you wanted to hurt somebody. You're hiding behind a screen. No one knows who you are. And you're spewing ugliness. You're spewing hate. You're trying to hurt. That doesn't speak to me. That doesn't speak to the next person that you're going to show up and try and disrupt their world. That speaks to what's going on in your life. That speaks to what's happening inside of you. And my prayer for you is that that stuff gets cleaned up so that you can be someone that contributes to this world, positivity, something nice, so that you're not going around with the mission of hurting somebody else. And oh, by the way, there ain't nothing ugly about me. I am not ugly on the inside. Because if I was ugly on the inside, then I would be having a different conversation with you right now. I believe so much in myself. I love myself so much that your opinion of me is irrelevant. But I hope that your opinion of yourself is not irrelevant, and that you think more of yourself than to be the person that you're being right now. Because that person is hurtful. And so hurt people hurt people. So wherever that came from, clean it up. Get the help that you need and do something positive with your life. We only have so many hours in the day. We only have so many days in the year. We only have so much life to live. And yours is more important, is more valuable. There's more that you can do with it than to spend your time trolling around looking for people to insult and to try to hurt. Okay? I wish you a great day. And I hope that your day turns around and that you find something of value to do with it, because this isn't it. It's not it. You deserve better. And the people on the other end of your keyboard that you're surfing around trying to hurt, they deserve better too. And I'm thankful that it was me. I'm glad that you showed up here instead of somewhere else, because you don't have an effect on me. The old me would probably be in tears right now, or maybe would have gotten off the live really quickly, or would have gotten angry and argued with you. She doesn't live here anymore. The person who lives here now stands in her own truth and loves herself. So it's great when people like me. It's great when people say good things to me and about me. But even in that, it doesn't make me one way or the other. I am who I am despite what's going on around me. And I wish the same thing for you. All right. So back to our regularly scheduled programming. We were talking about a fixed versus a growth mindset. I think we'd gotten down to the second one. Yes. So let's move on to the third point. If you guys can see the table here, if you have a fixed mindset, it says if you have to work hard, you don't have the ability. Where if you're doing if you have a growth mindset, the more you challenge yourself, the smarter you become. So think about that. Though, if you have to work hard, you don't have the ability. Versus the more you challenge yourself, the smarter you become. Back to my math example. Because I had to work harder on that subject than I did on others, same thing. I believe that was confirmation that I wasn't good at it. And so I continued to tell myself that I wasn't good at it. And what my grades were and whether or not I completed the assignment and all of that was irrelevant. It didn't stand up against what the message that was playing in my head, which is why. We talk so much about inner critic versus inner advocate. And we talk so much about mindset. If you have to work hard, you don't have the ability, versus the more you challenge yourself, the smarter you become. I became smarter because I know more about math than I did before because I put in the work. The fact that I had to put in the work says something about me. It says I'm a hard worker, says I'll do what I need to do to get the job done. And I had flipped that thing on its head and made it a negative. So that's why it's so important for us to realize what mindset we're operating at in any point in time. And if we're parents or if we're influencers in people's lives in any way, just think about how your mindset can affect other people. If your kid is struggling and you're saying, oh, it's okay, it's just the way it is in our family, we're not good at that, you're confirming for that child that they're not good. But if you pull up a chair and go, hey, buddy, I see this is a little bit difficult. You haven't figured it out yet, but let's let the math y'all do now. It's so hard compared to what we did. So I get it. I understand why you're struggling. It's a little hard for me too. But together we're going to figure it out. We just haven't cracked the code yet, but we're going to get it. That's a whole different message to your child. It doesn't tell them that they have some sort of inability. It's just something for them to learn. Growth mindset. If I don't try, then I won't fail. That's a fixed mindset. Where a growth mindset says I only fail when I stop trying. This one is huge. When your self-esteem is low, or when you don't believe in yourself, or you've got a big inner critic and you haven't done that work to transform that thing into your advocate, that is it's difficult to try something that you don't already know that you're good at. You are concerned about the outcome versus the process of learning. If you don't think you can do it, then you'll just go, you won't even try to start. And you'll convince yourself that you're not interested in it. Oh, I never wanted to do that in the first place. But really underneath, it's a fear of failure that's stopping you from trying. But the real failure is in not trying at all. If it's something that you'd really like to do, something that you'd really like to learn, there's no shame in not getting it right in the beginning. The process is the learning and what you can get from it. You may never be as good as the next person. I'm never going to be a great swimmer for whatever reason. Fear. I know exactly what the reason is. Water just shuts me down and it freaks me out. And it takes me so long just to get comfortable standing in it once it gets about here. So actually putting my face in it and all that, the brain starts to just swirl. All these what if thoughts and all this discomfort starts to come up. And so I shut myself down. When you're swimming, you have to relax. One of the first things they want to teach you is how to float. And in order for you to float, you've got to trust whoever's helping you enough for you to lay back and allow your whole body to relax. You arch and you breathe and you let go. Well, letting go is one of the most difficult things in the world for me to do. I am holding on. I am trying to be in control. So instead of allowing the water and my body to do what it wants to do, I'm fighting it because of my mindset, because of fear. But as long as I keep trying, I'm not failing, I'm learning. The thing about failure is it happens way more than success does. I think it was the light bulb, and I don't remember the numbers anymore. How many times did he fail before he finally got that thing to light up? We don't see the process. We don't see all the failures that someone has gone through in order to get to that moment of success. We just believe that that success just sprung up and magic happened. But the reality is, most of the time, there's been failure after failure after failure. And each time that failure happens, adjustments are made. Oh, well, that didn't work. Maybe if I use this material instead of that material. Oh, that breaks too easily. So I need to do this instead of that. I can't squeeze it this hard. You learn and you adjust, and eventually you get where it is you're trying to go. That's what a growth mindset teaches you. So you don't have to be ashamed of failure. You don't have to try and pretend like it didn't happen. You actually dig into it. You talk to people about it. You share it. And then you learn to do things a little bit differently, and you get farther in your efforts the next time. And you keep getting farther and you keep getting farther because the failure is giving you data points. You're taking that information, you're adjusting, and then you're moving forward. So that's the beauty of a growth mindset. It completely changes your relationship with failure. It teaches you, and that's priceless. And then the last one here, this job position is totally out of my realm of ability. I just can't do it. I'm not going to apply because it's too difficult. It's way above my head, that kind of thing. Where a growth mindset will say, this job looks challenging, but if I dig in, I can do it. I've got enough history, enough experience, enough work ethic that I can bring everything that I have right now into the position, and the things that I don't know yet, I'll learn them. Completely different mindset. So it will free you up to try things and to go for things that before you wouldn't have even considered for yourself, because your mindset was fixed and you believed either you already had it or you couldn't have it at all. So that's the difference. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. And my hope for you guys is that you can recognize quickly when you're operating in that fixed mindset, and you can go, okay, I'm thinking about this thing wrong. It's possible. I can do it. I just hadn't figured it out yet. And then just relax and breathe and allow your brain to take that in. And then you can begin to start to think and focus on the solution, focus on what it is you'd like to accomplish, where it is you're trying to go, and allow that process to start to unfold. The fixed mindset will tell you, no, you can't, where the growth mindset will say, I haven't figured it out yet. The last thing I want to say about a growth mindset, especially if there's parents that are watching this morning, or even people who are in leadership positions at their job and things like that. One of the things that Carol Dweck wrote about quite a bit was um, when you're praising someone, and how important it is to praise their effort and the process and the work that they're doing versus the outcome. She talked about children. She was working with some kids that I guess in our language would be considered like the gifted and talented kids versus kids who were just in regular classes. And one of the things that she had noticed about the gifted and talented kids was they had been told all along just how smart they were. And so that had been reinforced over and over again. That in and of itself sounds good to me, right? Not a bad thing. But because their work ethic and the process that they went through to learn the things that they knew was never talked about, those kids believed some of the things that we saw on this fixed mindset chart, that if it was hard, as an example, then that means that they couldn't do it. So they were less likely, believe it or not, to try new things and to try the harder things, because they needed to keep reinforcing the fact that they were smart. That's what they were known for. They were known for their ability to make good grades. They were known for being smart. So anything that might be too difficult, anything that might disrupt that belief, they didn't want to deal with it. They just didn't want to do it because they didn't want the fact that they were smart to ever be challenged. So they didn't want to be challenged, which seems so counterintuitive. When I think about the gifted and talented kids, I think about them being the ones who are trying the new stuff, the ones that are out there, creating and coming up with these great ideas, that they're not just in the classroom doing rote learning and going through the same process that other kids are. So that was really interesting to read. So I say all that to say, when you notice when your child comes home with those good grades, it's fine to say that they're smart, but also say, Mama sees how hard you work. I am so proud of you. You study all the time. You work hard, and look how that hard work is paying off. So the next time something comes along, and it may be hard, it may be challenging, your little person has your voice in their head already telling them that they work hard. And when they do work hard, good stuff happens. These A's show up on their report card. It's not that you're just so smart that you magically make these A's. Some people are really gifted and can grab concepts quickly, and that results in good grades. Nothing wrong with that. But you want to teach your children, you want to talk to your employees about their effort, how much you appreciate that effort, and how that effort is leading to good things. And if we do that, we see more people trying harder, doing the work, and as a result, having more success. So that was one of the big points out of the growth mindset that I wanted to make sure that I leave with you. It really helps to praise the effort, because we can always do more of that. That's where that yet comes in. I haven't figured it out yet. That takes effort in order for you to go through the process to figure it out, to improve your skill or learn a new skill. So that's today's discussion. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. If you're operating from the fixed mindset thing, it is what it is. We hear people say that all the time. That's what you believe. It is what it is, and there's not a whole lot I can do about it. Where if you're operating from the growth mindset, it is what it is right now. But if I put forth the effort, if I talk to the right person and get a little extra help, whatever the case may be, I can do it. I just haven't figured it out yet. All right. So I see quite a few of you guys are here. So give me a moment just to see. Let's see. Good morning, Karen and Alicia. Good morning, Bridget. Thank you, Karen. Thanks for being here, Chanda. I see some what's and some, I don't know if there was something I said that you guys were curious about, because I wasn't watching the messages in real time. Alicia, I see early on you said what? So if there's something that I said that needs further explanation, or maybe it's something that you have a different point of view on that you want to share, and we can collaborate and talk a little bit more, drop your messages there. I'm about to end the live, but I will definitely come through, look at your messages, and will respond. If you're seeing this after the live is over, please hashtag replay. I forgot to say it again this morning, guys, so hopefully you didn't need me to say it, but please like and share the broadcast. I am really trying to get the word out. I'm here, excuse me, I'm here every morning. Good morning, beautiful. Right back at you, Chanda. I am here at 7 a.m. Central, typically Monday through Wednesday. And then on Thursdays, I'm here at noon. And on Fridays, I'm back at 7 a.m. Next week, my work schedule is going to change. And my 7 a.m. meeting at work is going to be on Mondays. So I'm going to have to change the schedule up a little bit. I always put it out in advance so you guys know what time I'm coming on, but I also try to be consistent so it can just be a part of your regular day and you don't have to wonder. But starting next week, the Mondays will be noon, and then Tuesday through Friday will be 7 a.m. And I'll keep reminding you of that as we go through the week, so you guys know what time to find me. So thanks every one of you for joining. Thank you for your feedback. I'm sorry that we had the little cut over to have a conversation with the person on TikTok, But I think it's important when people show up and they have an agenda, meet them where they are, address it, do it and with love and kindness. Don't allow someone else to take you out of character. Be who you are, but you don't lay down and let people mistreat you either. So sometimes we just have to do what we have to do. But hopefully I modeled some good behavior there, and I didn't take us off track for too long. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. It is a new week full of new beginnings, new opportunities, and it begins with your mindset. If you're struggling at all with mindset, I've got a free online course. It's called Transforming Your Inner Critic into Your Inner Advocate. I believe that the link is in the comments. If you don't see it there and you're interested in the course, just reach out. You can DM me or drop a comment here, and I will get it to you right away. Other than that, have a wonderful rest of your week and a great Mindset Monday focused on growth. You may not know it now, but with a little oomph, a little work, you can. So it's not fixed. We are growing and evolving at all times. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. Bye, guys.